Hey everyone, in today's video we are going to be going over a kettlebell workout for beginners. So this is the type of material that I wish I had when I first started to use the kettlebell. It's one of the primary tools that I use now just because it kind of intertwines all the different elements of rhythm and tension and athletic movement. And in this type of training, we're going to be trying to focus on integrating the entire body together and not just focusing on one element, we'll say with just the hips or with just the arm, but really how the entire body kind of links together. So let's get moving because it's chilly out here. So what you'll need is obviously a kettlebell. What I would suggest you start with is probably a 10 to 15 pound kettlebell. You don't really have to start any heavier than that, especially with the stuff that we're going to go through today, but then you can definitely progressively increase the weight as you go. So what we are going to start with is simply just doing a side swing. So I'm going to take a swing to the outside of my hip, and then I'm just going to pull that up to a bicep curl where this is going to be upright. And all I'm trying to do here is just kind of get used to what that rhythm kind of feels like as I kind of let my body get pulled to my right, and then I come back up. Body pulled to my right and back up. This is going to help with wrist, shoulder stability, and just kind of getting used to how this feels in your hand. So we're just going to kind of work on that rhythm, and I'm just coming back more or less square. So I come back square, and then I'm going to rotate out. And this is just in general a good warm-up to kind of take your body through. This is going to help with thoracic mobility, it's going to help with shoulder mobility, and while you're doing this, let's switch it up here. While you're doing this, you can think about just having some tension into the ground. So I did cover a video on ground tension, you can check that out, but more or less I'm just trying to kind of splay the ground outwardly a little bit. So I'll kind of show you on this angle here. And with this other arm, you can just think it kind of comes across, and then I'm just going to catch this at the top. Okay, now once you kind of get used to that rhythm of it and going through those types of ranges of motion, what we want to start to get into is a kettlebell swing. Now, I'm going to suggest doing this from a bilateral position, which just simply means that my feet will just be side by side. I'm not going to go one leg in front of the other or anything like that. I'm just going to start here, and we're going to start just by getting the hips used to kind of going into a loaded position. So what I'm going to get used to, we'll go through maybe 10 to 12 reps here, just letting my hips come back to about this position. My upper body is going to come forward, and then I'm just going to stand up from there. Hips are going to come back, and then I'm going to come back up. And this type of motion with the hips is really a hybrid between a straight hinge, where I go here, and a squat, where I go straight down. It's kind of that sweet spot right in the middle. So it's allowing me to get activation not only into my quads, but also into my hamstrings and my glutes, most importantly. So after about 10 to 12 reps, we're gonna start to go into the kettlebell motion, and that is just there. This motion is just here, more or less, just to give your body kind of a baseline of programming to go through. So what we can do is we can grab our kettlebell, we're gonna go back to that bottom side up position, and then I'm just gonna work a kind of a throwing out pattern with my arm. So I'm gonna go from here, I'm gonna throw out, and my arm is gonna come in. Then I'm gonna come up, and I'm back to my curl. Here, and back up. Again, we can work through this motion just with body weight, because this is what we're going to be doing with the swing. So you can see my arm is going to rotate in, and then I come back up and I'm square. So let's work that. We're going to work just the bottom portion of the swing. So I'm going to work swing, and then I'm just going to come up here, swing and up. And then I can stand up and I'm at my curl. And then I can go through my throw. So then I'll throw and I'm up. So now we're kind of tying all those elements together. And catch. I'll show you on the other side here. And if you want to start at the bottom, you're welcome to. If you just want to kind of get used to the rhythmic motion of that, where you're just kind of swinging and going here. Now, it's important that when you're going through this, that you do have the ground tension intact, and that you do have a baseline of core tension here as well, because that's going to help to just stabilize everything around the abdominals and then through your pelvis. And once I have that, I can pull, and I'm right back to my top position. Then I'll throw out again, and I'm back. And it's almost as if I'm pulling this in to kind of what I would call the pocket. So I'm kind of pulling that into the pocket and then popping out from there. And you should feel a nice stretch through those hamstrings, through the glutes. And that is going to be a very foundational movement for anything that is kettlebell related. So take your time with that. Take your time with kind of that hinging motion, with the arm motion, and then you can finally start to add the kettlebell. For the last component, we're gonna work a swing, and then we're gonna work a reverse lunge. So, I'm gonna go swing, we're gonna catch first, and then I'm gonna step back, and then I'm just gonna go lunge down. So lunge, then I can pop back up, step, and I'm here. I'll back up here a touch for you. Boom. Now you can see that I'm really kind of breaking this up into components, where I go through the swing, then I catch, then I step, then I lunge. Over time, you can start to progress this, where you kind of catch it in the lunge. So I can go swing and catch. Catch. And that would be the more progressive model to it, is where you kind of start to flow all those exercises, or sorry, that one motion kind of together. But I always suggest start by just compartmentalizing it, and then you can integrate it. So let's go through this full thing together. So I'm gonna go swing, catch, swing, catch. And we'll just work 10 on each side here. Then we'll switch. Good. Now we'll go swing. So I'm just going to work just my swing, swing, and then catch in that pocket right at the top. Swing, catch. That up. Again, aim for about 10 to 12 reps here. Good. And finally, we'll tie that together with the swing into the reverse lunge. If you need to break it down first, I suggest you do so, or you can integrate it fully together. So I'll go swing, and step back lunge. good. Wouldn't necessarily say I'm super warm, but that's a really good kind of basic kettlebell exercise routine that you can go through. Really try to focus just on the fundamentals of that hinge pattern, of the lunging pattern, of the rhythm. Those will all be really important, especially if you want to continue to progress into more advanced stuff with the kettlebell. I wouldn't suggest going into anything too much overhead or anything like that, especially if you are new to that tool. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you can like this video as well as subscribe for more content similar to this. And until next time, make sure you are prioritizing and then you are optimizing. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.